Hey, what's up you guys? This is Kid of Mischief here, and this is how I styled my friend's Junko wig, and also how I ended up styling my Monokuma wig, so let's get started. First, if your wig is a little too shiny or a little too matted, we're going to need to clean it. If not, you can skip this step and I'll put the timestamp on the bottom of the video. How I like to clean mine is I fill up a bucket of water and I put a couple of capfuls of fabric softener. The fabric softener usually helps the shine and also helps it be easier to brush out the knots. I then stick the wig in and try to push it down as best as I can, and I'm going to leave it there for about an hour or two. There is no real time limit, just enough that it soaks. Once that's done, I rinse it off a bit. This part's not completely necessary, but I like to do it. Squeeze out the water and leave it to hang and dry for a little bit. Some people like to brush the wig when it's wet. I usually wait till it's closer to dry, but this wig in particular was super knotted, so whenever you're brushing wigs, make sure you start from the bottom and go up, just like real hair. It helps you not pull out as many fibers. I separate mine in sections and then start braiding it off, so it's easier to see what's left to brush. You start with a big tooth comb, and then I start going to a wire brush, and sometimes I go to a little comb after that, but usually the wire brush is decent enough. The main wig I took off and separated it into sections instead of braiding. You'll see why later. Next, I took a crimper. Mine has different sizes. This is the size I liked. And I unbraided the braids, made sure it was not knotted anymore, and then I started crimping top to bottom. This helps give your wig more texture, and also I've noticed that it makes it easier to brush afterwards as well. It hasn't knotted as easier after that. I don't know if that's a real thing, but it's just something I've noticed in the past couple of times I've done it. Now that it's all brushed out, I separated bits and pieces of it again. I switched to a straightener instead of a crimper. I heat up the fibers and then grab some, you can use any type of curlers. I use these foam ones because they don't get as stuck in the hair. You heat up the fibers and then you roll it on the rollers. Normally with wigs, if it's not real hair, it won't curl with a curling iron. Usually that just straightens it, oddly enough. So that's why you have to heat it up, you have to roll it on the curlers and let it cool off, and then the curls will be there. And after it's cooled off, just unroll them. As I unrolled a good section, I liked to spray it with some Got2b glued hairspray. I'll put the products in the link or in the description below. But I like to spray it so then it helps keep the shape as we go. Now going to the base wig, I am spreading it in half because I'm going to turn these long parts into part of the ponytails, sort of like wefts. So same thing, I heat it up and I put the curlers on how far down I want to take off from the wig. After I uncurl and spray them with the hairspray, I end up shimmying the rubber band a little bit lower and then I cut it off and seal the top with some hot glue. Make sure you push into the wig fibers too so that the middle doesn't fall out. But you see, now I have little kind of weft-like things for the ponytail. Now I'm taking off the rubber bands, spraying it with hairspray a bit more, and I am going to take the hot glue, dab it onto the top, and I use Gorilla hot glue so it's more sturdier than regular hot glue. I put it on the top, spread the wefts, and then put it in the middle. Hidden between the outer ponytail hair. So you can kind of see the difference between the right side, which has the quote-unquote wefts, and the left side, which doesn't. And that's what the wig looks like right now after I cut off the little ponytails. So I'm going to take my hair razor and I'm going to even it out a little bit. You can watch other videos on how to use just scissors. It's basically you have to hold the hair and then cut upwards with the scissors, but I ended up buying this because it's a whole lot easier. You will have to constantly buy more razors because the wig hair is a little rough on the sharpness of it, but still better for convenience. Now here's the wig so far. You can do a little bit of teasing slash back combing, and depending on the wig it'll help. Some of the wigs don't take to back combing very well and will just undo the curls, but just do what you can. If not, this is still pretty poofy for her. Trim around and make sure things aren't hanging out that shouldn't be hanging out. Make sure they're even on each side. Sometimes, and you'll see later in this video, you don't catch everything until you put it on later, and then you can just trim it. And there you go. Junko Enoshima. And this is what that wig looks like. Very poofy, but you can see you can see that little straight part that I was referencing a little while back. I ended up cutting it. So when you cut it, also, by the way, make sure you kind of move up and down as you're cutting so it's not just a blunt edge, but yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope this comes in handy for your Junko cosplay or any cosplay that requires floofy little curls. And yeah. So, thank you for watching. And thank you to all my Patreon subscribers that help support me being able to do what I do. And thank you guys for watching. So, please subscribe if you want to see more tutorials and just videos in general. I do a few things, so yeah.